Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing how President Joe Biden will likely not flip a single state in the 2024 presidential election against former President Donald Trump, and how it's rather likely that actually Trump flips more states than Biden, and if Biden doesn't flip any state at all, actually. But before we get started, make sure you guys are subscribed and click the bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video instead of missing out on any of them. And also we have memberships. If you are looking for that, it will be pinned in the comment section down below. Become a member today. We have custom perks and custom emojis that you can use every time you make a comment on any of my videos. So now back to the topic of today's video. Joe Biden is certainly most likely not going to flip a single state in the 2024 presidential election because 2020 was his best case scenario. The two most closest states in 2020 that Biden lost was Texas and North Carolina, which North Carolina was the closest that Biden lost. Those are the two states that Biden lost that were the closest. Every other state, swing state, battleground state, which is what we're talking about, went to Biden. And so that is the main reason why he's not going to flip a single state. It's the only realistic scenario in which Joe Biden does flip some states in 2024, this year's election cycle, is pretty much the only state he can is North Carolina, in which I think he's not going to, and that's exactly what the polls are reflecting. You take a look at the polling data from 538.com. As of March, Trump has consistent leads, and these are not outliers. He's up by 5 points. In North Carolina. Another poll has them up by 5 points. So these are consistent. These are not outliers, and it is becoming more increasingly likely that Donald Trump is on track to actually flip states rather than lose them. And don't be surprised if Donald Trump is on track to actually flip several states in 2024. Not one, not two, possibly 3 or even 4 states that Trump can flip in 2024. And Biden is most certainly going to flip 0. As of today, polling averages suggest that Trump has a 6-point lead in North Carolina. Now, in my opinion, that's a little bit too much. But you add in other things, like betting markets, expert ratings, for example, it gets a little bit closer, so the margin drops down to 4%, but it still doesn't matter, as those are strong leads for the former president in this state. Like I mentioned earlier, if Joe Biden were to flip a state that went to Trump from 2020 in this year's election cycle, that state would be North Carolina because it was the closest that Biden fell short in. Keep in mind, it only went to Trump by 1.5 percentage points. But if Trump is doing this phenomenal in North Carolina in 2024, Biden is most likely not going to flip a single state. Even Texas, which I think was the second closest when Trump won by 5.5 percentage points back in 2020, he's having leads of 7 to 8 percentage points in 2024, or this year's election cycle. And current polling averages has him up by 8 points. Betting markets, it's even better. He's up by 9 points. So with that being said, it's becoming clear that Biden is not going to flip a single state, and Democrats are playing defense. They're not playing offense. Democrats are playing defense in 2024. Joe Biden is defending his territories. He's defending his states that he won in 2020, like Arizona, like Georgia, like Wisconsin, which 3 of those states that I just named are most likely going to flip in favor of Donald Trump. And that's exactly what the polls are reflecting. As of today, Donald Trump is up in Wisconsin, which you never see a Republican up in Wisconsin before the election. You never see that. Biden held consistent leads in 2020 in Wisconsin by 7 points. He underperformed massively. He only won by under a percentage point. So that's good news for Donald Trump. And then, for example, Nevada, Biden did not improve on Hillary Clinton's margin, so he's definitely playing defense. He does not have time to expand the map. He does not have room to expand the map. He's not going to get past 303 electoral votes. He's not going to get past his 2020 margin. That was literally his best case scenario. 2020 was Biden's best case scenario. He's not going to flip a single state in 2024. When talking about Nevada, Biden did not improve on Hillary Clinton's margin. And that shows bad news for the Biden campaign, considering that 2020 was extremely favorable. You had a whole number of states shift to the left. Minnesota shifted towards the left. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all trended in favor of Biden. Georgia had a 6-point swing in favor of Biden. Arizona had a 4-point swing in favor of Biden. Meanwhile, Nevada was an outlier state. Biden did not improve on Hillary Clinton's margin, and considering that, you can very well be seeing a red Nevada in 2024, and which is why I think Trump is actually on track to flip more states than Biden. And in my opinion, Biden's not going to flip a single state because, like I mentioned, the closest state that Biden did not win in 2020 was North Carolina, in which Trump is leading by 4 points. So if Trump is leading by 4 points, which was the closest state that Biden lost in 2020, he's not going to flip a single state. And I think it's more likely that Trump flips Nevada, Trump flips Arizona even, and I think Georgia is actually the most likelier state that Trump is easily going to flip because the margin was just low for Biden. He only won it by 10,000 votes. So that's going to be another flip. So Donald Trump is on the offense. Joe Biden is on the defense trying to defend his 303 electoral votes that he got last time. And he's expected to lose a ton of states that he got last time. Battleground states, to be exact. Donald Trump is most likely holding on to North Carolina, which is the closest state that Biden lost. So he's not going to flip that state, meaning he's not going to flip any state. At this point in time, back in March of 2020, Biden had a 5-point lead over Donald Trump. This time around in 2024's election cycle, it is the complete opposite. Donald Trump has a 4 to 5 point lead over Joe Biden in the overall popular national vote. This year's Joe Biden is exactly 2020 version of Donald Trump. This year's Donald Trump is the exact of 2020 version of Joe Biden. So with that being said, it's basically flipped. Biden is in a worse case than where he was 4 years ago, and Donald Trump is in a best case than where he was 4 years ago. So it's basically 2020 all over again, but this time Biden is Trump and Trump is Biden. So if that makes sense at all. And then also, we get to the Rust Belt. It even gets worse for Biden. Trump on his track to win Wisconsin, even flip that state. Maybe even Michigan, but I think it's a little bit harder. So let's say Biden narrowly wins this state, and Trump might win Pennsylvania, and that's what the polls are suggesting. So let's say he wins that barely, narrowly. This is the map, 297 electoral votes, and Joe Biden at 241. So it is clear that Joe Biden is not going to flip a single state. And what he needs to do is realize that, and he needs to play defense because he's not going to expand his map. He's going to lose electoral votes, and that is most likely going to happen. And don't be surprised if Donald Trump flips 5 to maybe even 6 states, swing states, in 2024. So don't even talk about Biden expanding his 303 electoral votes and flipping a state because that's not going to happen. Biden will not flip a single state in 2024. Trump may even get more than 5 flips. And that is not good news for the Biden campaign. So let me know your overall thoughts on this video. And do you think Biden will flip any state? Because I don't. Because the closest state that he fell short in was North Carolina. And guess what? Trump is doing significantly well in that state. And considering that was the closest, you take a look at Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, even Michigan. Trump is doing vastly better than where he was polling in 2020. So that's pretty much it. One last final reminder before I end out the video is we do have channel memberships. The link to them will be pinned in the comment section down below, or you can find it in the description section, or you can just click the join button on my channel page. We have custom perks and custom emojis. Become a member today. And also, make sure you are subscribed and turn on the bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video instead of missing out on any of them.